To solve by factoring, first notice that all the terms are on one side equal to 0. The next thing that we want to do is look to see if there is something in common to all of the terms. If so, we can factor that out front. Perhaps they're all even and we factor out a 2. In this case, there's nothing in common to all of them. So the next thing is we would really like that leading coefficient to be positive. Since this one is negative 6a squared, let's factor out a negative 1. Ultimately, by factoring out a negative 1 from each term, it's going to make factoring the remaining trinomial much easier. To factor the remaining trinomial, consider this technique. Draw a giant X and then multiply the numbers in the front and the back together and place it at the top of the X. 6 multiplied by 25 is 150. Then bring the number in the middle straight down. So here I'm bringing 25 straight down. We want to think of two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get 150, and when you add them, you get 25. If you're having trouble thinking of these numbers, then brainstorm first all the numbers that multiply together to get 150. Starting with 1 times 150, 2 and 75, 3 and 50. Then we have 5 times 30. We also have 6 times 25. And lastly, 10 times 15. Looking at these numbers, it will be easier to think of the pair that multiply together to get 150 and add up to 25. Take a moment and look over that list. Yes, it is 10 and 15. 10 multiplied by 15 is 150, and 10 plus 15 is 25. We've done the hard part. Now we're just going to put these numbers over A and simplify. It's a little tricky when I say over A because the variable in this problem is A. But in a quadratic, the number in front of the variable squared is known as A, the number in front of the variable to the first power is B, and then that number at the end is C. So in this instance, when I say over A, I mean over 6 because that's the number in front of A squared. Taking those two numbers that we thought of, 10 and 15, put them over A. Next, simplify. 10 over 6 simplifies to be 5 over 3. We can simplify 15 over 6. That is 5 over 2. We're ready to write this in factored form. Since the variables in this trinomial are A, I'm putting in A because A times A is A squared. The number in the denominator is placed before the A. The number in the numerator is placed after the A. That is a positive 5. Same thing with the other fraction, 2 in the denominator, that goes in front of the A, and then the number in the numerator, 5, goes at the end. We have this factored, but let's not forget that we have factored this, but we still have a negative 1 out front and then equals 0. To finish solving, we just want to set each piece equal to 0 and solve. Negative 1 does not equal 0, so that does not give us any solutions. We just kind of throw that away. Solving 3a plus 5 equals 0, subtract 5, divide by 3, we get negative 5/3. And then that third little mini equation, I'm going to subtract 5 and divide by 2. So a is going to be negative 5/2. And we have the answer to the original equation. A is negative 5/3 and negative 5/2.